everybody, I'm Tom Basso and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This Board Game Breakfast is being recorded live from, well, at least this part, is being recorded live from Dice Tower Con 7. This has been the best convention I've ever been to. It has been a fantastic time. You've seen a lot of live stuff streamed from here. It is Sunday right now at the convention. Convention closes in 3.5 hours and you would never know it from all the busyness behind me. It has been just an amazing blast of fun. But hey, we're back to normal this week. We did a lot of live streaming and stuff last week, which you can still go check out. We're going to be doing a lot of other videos and things. We're going to get back on schedule because Gen Con's a few weeks away. But don't worry about conventions. We don't want to talk about conventions all the time. We want to talk about some board games. So let's start with the news. So what's in the news this week? First of all, 2 new Phoenix Born for Ashes, War of the Ashes. So if you notice, one of these guys is carrying the Dice Tower hammer. That's very obviously what he took. Dice Throne Season 2 is hitting stores. I already reviewed Dice Throne Season 1. This is more characters and things for this kind of like a King of Tokyo fighting style game. Let's see, we have a Mansions of Madness expansion called Horrific Journeys, which is pretty much anything when you're stuck in a van with kids. This is going to be adding new agendas, mechanisms to the game. Q4, if you like Mansions of Madness, you got a lot more coming. Samurai Jack, I've actually seen that here at this convention. That's coming from USAopoly. Blast of the Past, it's called. It's based on Season 5. I still haven't seen Samurai Jack. I should probably get around to doing it. X-Wing, 2nd edition. They've announced that Slave 1 is going to be one of the opening ships in that, so you'll be able to get that. They're sure this second thing is going to be a big splash. I would place money on the fact that you're going to see it at Gen Con. All right, we're going to see more heroes have been announced for Song of Ice and Fire, Stark heroes and Lannister heroes. So if you want Hodor and some of these evil jerks that are in this series, you can get them for this game. Gigamic has announced Chaosmos, which is unfortunate because I believe there's already a game called Chaosmos with a CH. But anyway, it's a tile-laying game, 2 to 6 players. It looks good. AEG, The Captain is Dead Lockdown. This looks like a standalone expansion, I think. I'm not sure if it's standalone or not. So don't, but it's more for this game of the captain dies in a ship and you all gotta survive. Smash Up, Oops, You Did It Again is coming out very soon. This is gonna have the Cowboys, Vikings, Samurai, and Egyptians, which, if you think about it, is essentially the 4 themes that most Euro game designers use. All right, and then finally, Terraforming Mars Colonies has been announced because, hey, let's keep printing money. New cards, it's going to let you go to the solar system. I'm sure fans will love it and play it well with all the other, because Terraforming Mars is definitely one of the games that's being played the most here. That's all the news I got. Let's keep moving.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing the cubes with this week's segment, From the Page to the Table. There was a time in my life when I was a huge Jane Austen nut. When I commuted back and forth to college, I listened to a lot of audiobooks, and it's something I still do to this very day. And Jane Austen's novels were something that I listened to on my ride back and forth to school. It was also a time when they were redoing on BBC and doing a lot of the movies. There was the Keira Knightley movie and then some really excellent reproductions from the BBC that were on PBS. My personal favorite is Persuasion. I loved the story. I find it her most mature novel out of the bunch as well. Main character's name is Anne, and my middle name is Anne too. I guess I'm just being, liking that one. So this week I am pairing it with a Kickstarted game, Polite Society, the Jane Austen board game. 2 to 7 players, 30 minutes at maximum, and ages 8 and up. This game really captures a lot of what Austen is going for in her novels. So many of them take place around a table, and the object of this game is to fill your table with characters from all of Austen's novels, including Austen herself. In this game, you are rolling dice and gathering resources, and then with those resources, you are then purchasing cards. There's a lot of luck that goes on in this game, and I would even say that this game is really great for you to introduce to non-gamer friends. If I had a group of girlfriends that were really into Jane Austen, I would totally introduce this to them because I think it's a great gateway game in terms of that, and has a theme that for those who are not traditional board gamers, they would really latch on to this. That's all for this week. I'll see you next week. Happy breakfast.
All right. Guess you're all wondering why I called you here today? Well, it seems we need to have a little intervention, okay? Now, it has been brought to my attention that some of you have not been pulling your weight around here. Now, hear me out. I may be wrong, but just hear me out. It seems like every time I want to roll high, you roll low. And then the few times that I want to roll low, then all of a sudden you find it fit to roll high. You guys are supposed to be the best of the best. You all had to go through an initiation, remember? You remember the saltwater ritual? I'm sure you couldn't forget. So that is why you are standing here today, and your friends who failed the initiation ritual are not here. I mean, if you want to be part of my dice bag, you need to be the best. But if you can't live up to the best, then we could feel free to remove you from my bag. So you guys better step it up. And I'm looking specifically at you, D4s. Don't you even think about rolling on the floor when I'm walking around barefooted. All right? So let's get out there and roll the numbers that I want you to roll. Otherwise, I'm going to introduce you to my little friend, the trash compactor. Huh? You want that? You want that? Huh?
Today I'm reviewing Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. I'm Mark Maya. Welcome to Board Game Coffee, Espresso Edition. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is a 1 to 8 player game of mystery and intrigue. Basically, it's a game where everybody takes turns reading passages out of a book and then working together to solve its mysteries. Kinda sounds like Sunday school, except for all the murder. No, wait. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it on you straight. No matter how good everyone says it is, Sherlock is not for everyone. For one thing, there's a lot of reading. It's all you do. You read, take notes, and discuss. It's more like a group assignment than a game. Albeit, an interesting work assignment, but only if you have the right group. And sure, a bad group could ruin any game. But I get the sense that the fragility of a Sherlock group's fun factor is tenuous compared to most other game night propositions. So mitigate expectations when proposing said night of murder and mystery. Let your group know up front that we're playing a Sherlock game. It's more like an interactive storybook than a game. And it's important that everyone knows this before showing up. Don't go setting up a board game night and then pull out old Shirley locks when everyone arrives. Because spending a night reading out loud to a group of people hanging on your every word might not be everyone's idea of a relaxing Friday night. It's not mine. But you know what? I had a good group and we had a good time. But no matter how good a time it was, I cannot recommend this to everyone. But if the idea of reading and solving a mystery with a group of friends sounds like a good time, then I do recommend this game to you. Now, I did do a few things off book that I think really helped our group experience. First, I went out and made photocopies of the newspaper so everyone around the table would have a copy to scribble on. And lastly, what I thought brought the whole night together, we had one person volunteer to do all the reading. And it gave us all a chance to get used to one voice and really focus on the story. And as a host, it's your duty, as it was mine, to make sure everyone at the table is engaged and feels included. Because if one person isn't talking, there's a good chance they're just not having a good time. So how did I do at Sherlock? Not so good. I mean, I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. But I'm pretty sure I'm the one responsible for my team scoring -5 out of a possible 140 and putting an innocent man behind bars.
Hey, so here I am on my way home, so let's talk about what's coming out this week from the Dice Tower. I'm going to be reviewing a lot of games. The biggest one, I think, will be Root. I'm very excited to take a look at this one. We're going to take a lot of the new games that are coming out at Gen Con or very soon, and of course some smaller games, because I like to talk about all this sort of stuff. You might see some of the videos that we recorded at Dice Tower. We did a lot of things like the Dice Tower Awards and stuff. We did that stuff live, so not everything that we have is going to be, some of it's already up on the internet, and some of the stuff you'll get up slower, so just take a look at the different videos that we put up this week. I'll also do a live Q&A at some point tomorrow, probably. Just trying to get back on schedule. And so, like I said, you'll see a lot of stuff this week. All right, well, let's get back to the rest of the show.
Hello everyone, everyone, my name is Annette, and you may know me as Netters Plays. And today on Apply Mechanics, I'm going to go over Pioneer Days. So this is a Western-themed game that is all based upon dice drafting in a unique way. So let me show you a little bit about that and why I really like it. So here's the main setup of the game. In this bag, you'll have 5 different color sets of dice. The starting player will draw out a certain number of dice. After the player rolls their dice, then they will select one of them to do their actions with. If a player took this die, this player can either take 1 medicine, or they can take 6 money. This player can also recruit this character. These characters can give you benefits either immediately or they can reoccur every week. Also, they will give you points at the end of the game. The other actions that players can take is either take less money, take other characters, or take wood, cattle, or even equipment, or they can even go mining for gold. After all players have taken a die, that remaining die will affect the disaster track. Whatever color that is, it will push one of these markers forward. If it was a black die, then all of them will go forward. If a marker ever reaches the end of a track, then a disaster will happen, which will affect everyone. Your wagons can get damaged in storms. You can lose half of your money in a raid. In a famine, you have to pay a coin for every cattle you have, otherwise they die. Any recruited person can also die from disease if they don't get their medicine. At the end of 4 rounds, whoever has the most points wins. So there's a lot more to this game than what I explained, but I really enjoy the dice drafting part. What I like is that players can take a die and do several potential actions with that. Not only are you taking the die that will best benefit you, but you also have to prepare yourself for those potential disasters. And that's why I really like this game. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Hey everyone, on today's Works of Art, I'm going to be talking about Sunset Over Water by Pencil First Games featuring artwork by Beth Sobel. In the game, you play a landscape artist, and I feel like Pencil First Games knew exactly who they were going to approach as the illustrator for the game, being that Beth worked on Viviculture, Between Two Cities, and so on. Beth is a perfect fit for this small but meaty card game. If you want to see some more artwork from Beth, I would check out her website. It's bethsobel.com, where you can see artwork from her various board game projects like Last Garden, Viviculture, World's Fair, and so on. On the website, she also provides links to her Facebook and Twitter account. On her Facebook, you can also see the various projects that she's worked on. She also provides progress shots on there. You could also go to imprint.com, where you could buy a couple of pieces of artwork from her. It's imprint.com/gallery/Beth Sobel. Another cool bit of info is that if you just Google Beth, you'll be able to find links from other content creators who have interviewed her in the past. So if you want some more info on Beth, those are awesome links to go check out. One of her upcoming projects, Herbaceous Sprouts, just finished up on Kickstarter a little less than a month ago, and she provided the artwork for that game as well. Looks like a fun dice rolling game that I'm probably going to check out. Well, if you're in a Bob Ross sort of mood, then you should really have a crack at this game. Beth does an amazing job with the various landscape images. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. Check me out on various social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we have less than 30 days to go for Gen Con. I'm super excited. If you see me, stop me, say hello. I love to chat with some of you guys. And until next time, enjoy your breakfast.
Hi, Mike Licio from Solomode Games. I'm here at Dice Tower Convention 2018. I've got a very special guest with me today. I've got Liz from Beyond Solitaire. You can catch her segment on Token Punch Lunch. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. As I mentioned last week, we're going to be doing a segment on my Talking About Gaming solo, answering a question today from Shane Anigans. The question is, do you prefer apps to create a solo mode, or do you prefer everything to be analog? Liz, do you want to go first on this?
All right, so I will say I'm a little bit of a Luddite. I really do prefer to do things analog, but I have exceptions. So one of my favorite games is Sentinels in the Multiverse. I really like the Helper app to track all the health so I don't have to put tokens everywhere.
Right.
So I guess I would say that I like apps when they really make the analog play easier, but I don't necessarily want to go all the way over to an app.
That's a good call. And I don't want to say that Sentinels is fiddly, but it's fiddly. So that's perfect for that.
I admit it, yeah.
I'm similar to you, and shout out for Luddite, by the way. That's a great word. Latin teacher. Yeah, anyway. So my thing is that my issue with apps is that there's a potential for them to become obsolete. Like, I've got Rising 5, which is an awesome cooperative game that you can play solo because of that app.
Yeah.
And my fear is that because I like this game so much, I'm going to want to play it, and eventually that app is going to become obsolete. They're going to not support it. That's my biggest concern with apps for solo modes. Other than that, I'm all for anything that's going to make it more possible for a game to be played solo. So I think we're pretty much aligned on that. We're not completely against it, but where they have their place, I think.
Yeah. Also, if you make an app, please update it. Don't do planned obsolescence to me.
Thank you. Agreed. That's all we have for you today. It was wonderful having you with me, Liz.
Yeah, it was great to meet you in person.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time as always, and have a great day.
Happy gaming.
Happy breakfast, everybody, and today we're here to talk about the outside, or at least trees, in terms of photosynthesis. It's the perfect game because you are taking the plants, you're taking the trees, you're planting them down, the sun's going to move around the board, giving you the light, the energy from the photosynthesis that's going to allow you to grow those trees, throw seeds off across the board, and you can then slowly but surely build them up, blocking the light from others. So there's certainly a bit of a take that aspect of it, but you're eventually going to be able to cut those trees down to gain points, and at the end of the game, that's what matters. So yeah, you can be blocked off or be blocking other people off throughout the game, but if you don't get to cut that tree down in that final round or before then, it's not going to score you any points. And it's kind of an intriguing way of, when do I cut that big tallest tree down, because that's the only type you can cut down to get points, but that's probably blocking a lot of other people getting light points from one round to the next. So it's that timing that's key. Now, a lot of people don't like the really take that part of it, but if you've got the right group, it can work. So that's why photosynthesis, for me, the theming of the whole process of growing trees from seed to all the way till they get cut down or chopped down or fall down, whatever, the whole process is there. Anyway, that was photosynthesis, and this is Oliver East signing out.
Well, I'm home, finally. Whew. That was a fantastic week at Dice Tower Con. I can't tell you how great it was. But you know, it's kind of interesting. I left Dice Tower Con. We had a lot of packing to do. And thank you to those not only who volunteered for Dice Tower Con, but helped us personally pack up all our stuff. There was so much. And so putting all this stuff together and getting it and then just leaving the convention, it made me think, you know, leaving a convention always installs a sort of sadness. And I think a couple things happen there. When you go to a convention, it's great. You meet new friends. It's like going to summer camp for adults almost, especially when you have so much fun and these things. So when it's over, there's a bit of sadness. And I think that's diluted by the number that you go to. So when you go to a convention once a year, I used to go only to Origins. And when I went there only one time a year, when I would leave, it would be sad because it would be a whole year before. You'll see that publishers don't seem as sad, and people who go to all the convention circuit, we call it, they're not as sad because, well, we go to a lot of them. I'll see some of these people in the next 3, weeks or so at Gen Con. So there's a little bit less there, but still there's some sadness for me at Dice Tower Con because there's so many people there that, well, I just don't see anywhere else. And we had the whole Dice Tower crew practically there. So many folks from Dice Tower. I mean, we'll probably have just as many at Gen Con, but it was just such a fantastic time. I always say it's easier to leave a convention because you basically go, see y'all later, bye, and then you head out. While if you stay at a convention, slowly you see people leave. On Sunday, all the tables are full at a convention at the beginning of the day, and then they slowly disappear. The exhibitor hall, on the other hand, is gone in a flash as soon as it's done. And so it's just something to think about. Sometimes there's a relief, though, when a convention's over because you go back to normal life. Maybe you go back to your family. Maybe you go back to some people that you've been missing. And so for some people, there's that mixture of the sadness and the happiness. Like my family had to leave Dice Tower Con early. My kids are going to camp this week. So they left the day before me. So when I came home, there was something to look forward to, come home there. And I also have my own gaming group and a lot of folks to play games with, and that's a really great time. But I just was wondering what you guys thought about this. Like when you go to a convention, is there sadness when you leave? Or are you excited to leave? You're like, it's over? Does it determine on whether you're working at a convention, volunteering, or maybe just going there to have a lot of fun? Or maybe it's kind of like where people say, I need to take a vacation for my vacation. Maybe that's what it's like for some. We were at a con. It's fun and interesting, but it drains you. There's so much to do. I don't know. Either way, I will say this. I will miss everyone who was at Dice Tower Con. It was the best convention, other than the cruise, that I've ever been to. It was so fantastic, and we have so many great ideas for next year. But we're going to take a rest for now. But you'll see. We'll be talking about a whole lot of board games and stuff over the next few weeks. But right now, let's take a look at this.
Hey folks, this is Jonathan for This Is Broken, where I'm talking about a game I really like, but I think that something inside is either broken, overpowered, underpowered, or not balanced at all. And today's game is going to be Mangrovia. So bear with me, I'm going to show you what I think doesn't work inside that game. Okay, the problem with that game goes with the amulet. You see, the amulets are inside a cloth bag like that, and when you draw them, they look like that. Their value are from 2 to 6. There's amulets of value 1, but they're not inside the bag. When you do the build action and you build in a round space like that right here, you're gonna move up on the amulet track by 1. If you are able to reach the last space on the amulet track, each time you're gonna do the amulet action, you're gonna draw 5 of those amulets and keep 4 of them. And you do that action by being here and doing that action with a bag icon. And those amulets worth a lot of points. An amulet with a 5 value is going to give you 5 points at the end of the game. If not, they're going to give you the opportunities to build on those amulet space right here. It's really too strong, because let's say I'm doing the amulet action and I draw, let's say, those 2 right here, and another 5 and a 2. That's for sure. I'm gonna throw the amulet of value 2 back in the bag, and I'm gonna win 15 points if I'm able to draw 4 amulets from the bag. Woohoo! 15 points in one action. It's a lot. A lot. The other points that you can win in the game are those sun's icon that you can see everywhere. Those yellow things right there. They're gonna give you 1 point per yellow icons. And the last thing are those gods-like track right here. They're gonna give you points for majorities if you have the more huts built inside a row or a column, and they're gonna give you if it's tied, it's the first one that builds. It's a good way, a great way to have points. But if you're the only player that does the amulet action, you're gonna win for sure by far. That's in my opinion, I think. And this is what I think. It's really too much powerful inside that game. Thank you for watching. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Joe Mello.
And I'm Daddy. And this is Time to Play.
And what did we play this week?
We played Trickster's Champions of Time.
Trickster is a trick-taking game card. Very simple game.
There are 8 factions with 8 different trades.
Yeah, and basically what you do is like the first player will play the card, right? Mm-hmm. And then the trickster will decide what the trick is. And basically is you will decide to match the faction, the trade, or make everything different. And then everybody else has to follow that trick. If you can't do it, you have to draw the card. So what did you think about that game?
I really enjoyed this game.
Did you like anything in particular in the game?
I just liked that the game was simple and fun to play.
Yeah, it's we got a group of 7 playing. I think that's the maximum number for this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have like a very different ages. Like, how old is Nathan?
He is 8 years old.
8 years old.
So we got 8 years old up to I think 47.
I think we're a little higher than that, because I think Nene is being 47 for a while. But anyway, it was a fun game. I really like it. I think it's a nice kind of idea, but it's nothing much different from other trick-taking games we play, is it?
No, not really.
Yeah, I think it didn't bring anything amazingly new. It's still very fun. I think it's a nice game. I think people should check this one out.
2 thumbs up.
All right. I would say 1.5 for me, but it's still a pretty good game. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Breakfast, everybody.
See you around the table. Bye.
Bye.
Hello guys, I'm Cardboard Rhino and welcome to Rhino Says Yes. Today I have here with me a really lovely cooperative game with ghosts, dreams and murders. It's of course Mysterium. Mysterium is a cooperative mystery solving game. One player is a ghost and the rest of the players are a team of investigators that try to solve murders that take place in a spooky house. The investigators have 7 hours or 7 turns to contact the ghost and investigate any clues that it can provide. The ghost cannot speak for the entire game, but it can communicate through visions, which are these awesome dreamlike illustrated cards. Each hour, the ghost hands 1 or more vision cards to each psychic investigator according to the murder each tries to solve, and they try to use their intuition to correctly interpret his messages about first the culprit, then the location of the murder, and then the object used. The ghost has 7 cards at any given time, but he may discard any or all of his cards by using these crows here, and he gets new cards, hoping that they will be more useful for sending good visions. After time runs out, the ghost reveals to each psychic whether the guesses were correct or not. If they were, they move on, while those who weren't keep their vision cards and receive new ones. Once a psychic has correctly guessed the suspect, location and weapon, they move to the epilogue board, and if all psychics reach that point, there is one more step to win the game, where the investigators hold
The majority vote on which group of cards the 1 and 2 culprit, location and object actually belong to, but we don't really have time in those 2 minutes of the video to cover this.
Mysterium made a big splash when it came out 3 years ago, and I think it's totally justified. If you oversimplify, you could say it's like Cluedo meets Dixit, but the result that came out is actually something really unique. It's a very thematic and engaging game that really creates interesting interaction between the players and succeeds in creating this mysterious atmosphere. There's different difficulty levels. You can play up to 7 people and almost all kinds of players. There is some good expansions as well. So Rhino says yes to Mysterium. It's one of the games you should definitely have in your collection.
Howdy folks, welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. Each episode of By the Numbers, we take a look at a board game numeric related topic. This week's topic, when do you consider a game long? By that I mean, at what point in time do you consider a game long? When do you call a game long? Is it 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 15 minutes? Every person's a little different, but let's take a look at this handy dandy chart and we see that most people agree 2 to 3 hours is the length of time a game is considered long. But looking a little closer at the poll, we see a problem. This poll is invalid. Taking a look down the comments, we see that for the most part, people agree that time in minutes is not when a game becomes long. It's when the game starts to drag. When does it feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again? Every game is a little different. It's more of a state of mind. Whose turn is it? Whose turn is it? Whose turn is it? Whose turn is it? Did we eat dinner? Did we eat lunch? When do you consider a game becoming long? Is it more of a state of mind, like some have said? Or is there a length of time that's prohibited for you for various reasons? Maybe you don't have 3 hours to spend on a game. Leave down in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Ilka, the Happy Loser's wife. We already have enough board games, so everything my husband wants to buy from now on will have to be approved by me. Welcome to The Pitch. Hi everyone. Dave, the Happy Loser, is at this very moment at the Dice Tower Con in Orlando, Florida, having the time of his life, sitting around in air-conditioned rooms and playing games all day. I'm not mad at all or disappointed or unhappy that he didn't take me. Of course I am. Of course I am. Who wouldn't want to go there? But we have a son who's in school, so I couldn't come. He's gonna come back with a bunch of new games. The Reef is one he already mentioned. So what he doesn't know is that I'm taking the time while he's away to maybe get rid of some of our games. Welcome to The Catch. Thank you very much, David Phillips, for giving this segment this awesome name, in which I tell Dave what games to get rid of. And here's my choice of today. I'm going to show you. So these are not games that we hate, but these are just games that don't get to the table often enough. So see you next time for the pitch, where you can see how Dave reacted.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast, folks. I'll see you tomorrow for a live Q&A. We have Dice Tower tonight with me, Crystal, and Eric coming up this Wednesday. Our Dice Tower Award audio show is going to drop tomorrow. There's a lot of different things that are coming out. And so, we're not taking vacations. I'm working hard. I'm going in very soon to go start recording all the reviews for this week. But for now, some sleep. Hey! Great, wonderful, fantastic week. I hope if you weren't at Dice Tower Con, you felt like you were there a little bit through the videos and live streaming and such. But either way, whether you were there in spirit or whether you were there in person or whether you didn't care that you were there, but you're glad that we're back doing videos, we appreciate you watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and this has been Board Game Breakfast.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.